Now we have Nehemiah. Now Nehemiah was in Persia, and he heard of the affliction going on in Jerusalem. The walls were broke down. Now the temple's been rebuilt, but the wall surrounding Jerusalem has been broke down. Okay, and he wanted to go rebuild the city of Jerusalem. So he prayed to the Lord, and Artaxerxes, the king of Persia, sent him, and he rode around, inspected the walls, and just looked at it. And the people around, the nations around him, laughed. So they get there, and he assigns the workmen to rebuild the walls. So Nehemiah is like the leader of Jerusalem now, and Ezra the scribe is with him. He's there. Ezra was there before Nehemiah got there, of course. So he assigns the people for their work, but the people around him mocked him and laughed. They conspired against him to stop him from building the walls. And they was telling the king, they're rebelling against you. They're rebuilding these walls. Then there's a great cry of the people because they was hungry. So they borrowed on their possessions to get food. Nehemiah was angry and had their, I guess, debts dropped. They said, it's not good that you do ought you not to walk in the fear of our God because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies. And the thing was, these people was cursing them. And Nehemiah told God not to blot out their sins, but to remember the things they've done and not forgive them. We're going to have enemies. I can't remember what it is, but he told them not to blot them out. So, the enemies around them heard they built the wall and there's no breach. So they sent to Nehemiah, come, let us meet together. And then they sent a servant. They did it 4 times, and they sent a servant to him, and he wouldn't go. And then they even, some of the prophets was crooked, man. And they told him to go. But he wouldn't do it. Then they tried to get him to go to the temple of the Lord. So they hired people against him, but they didn't stop him. He kept on going. He trusted the Lord. Some of the prophets even tried to put him in fear to stop it, which was not the false prophets. So then they finished the work. And then after they did that, they kept the gates shut at night and opened the gates during the day. But the people was few therein. So there's a register of the people who all was there. Like I say, it's about 60,000 altogether, I guess. So they gathered themselves together as one man in the street before Nehemiah. And Ezra took the book of the law of Moses and read it. They read it every day. I mean, they read it, and the people cried and wept. And there's mourning until the midday. And then Nehemiah and Ezra and the Levites taught the people and told them, this day is holy unto the Lord. Mourn not nor weep. For all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. And told them, go your way, eat, be happy. For the joy of the Lord is your strength. So why do we have so many sad people all the time? So many people acting miserable. The joy of the Lord is our strength. We can have joy in Him. We can't think about what all we've done wrong. We've got to forget that and move from it and follow the Lord, for the joy of Him is our strength. So they went out their way. Then they went a second time, and they followed the book of the law, and they read it day by day, and kept the fast for 7 days. Then they repented. They separated Israel from all the strangers, and they stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers. They read the book of the law, and they cried with a loud voice, and they blessed the Lord. And chapter 9 is a lot of they blessed him, how he brought them up from Egypt, and how wonderful he is, and then how they turned from him. So then they made a covenant with the Lord, and then it's got a list of people that signed it. And the main thing was separating themselves from the people of the land and to the law of God, and their wives not to give it to each other, and that they have knowledge and understanding, and clave to their brethren, and entered into a curse and into an oath to walk into God's law, which was given by Moses. See, the oath, it could be a curse or a blessing, whether you keep your oath or you don't keep it. So then they repopulated the cities, brought the first fruits. People did trade on the Sabbaths, and they kicked them out of the land. They didn't name the cities that they had, and then the priests and the Levites that named them that was there. They rededicated the wall. Then it said in the law of Moses that the Ammonites and Moabites did not ever come into the congregation of the Lord, so they were banned from the place. When they all heard the law, they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. Then they had the priest set up. Then they kept the Sabbath. And then they, like I say, killed some of the people that married the strange women. They plucked out their hair and made them swear by God that they should not give their daughters and their sons to the other Israelites. And it reminded them of Solomon's sin from taking the strange wives. And then that's the end of Nehemiah. So basically, he came in, rebuilt the city, and they restarted everything, and then, commanded them not to take strange wives, married into the women, because that's what happened to mess them up in the first place, because that's how they got seduced to serve other gods. So, that's Nehemiah. And the thing is, they showed guilt and humility, for they wailed and cried and wept. A lot of us, we can't even shed a tear when we do something wrong against God. Now we fail and we can't even shed a tear. So that's Nehemiah.